In a world where noise travels faster than thought, silence has become a mystery. We live in an era where everything is shared: morning routines, heartbreaks, vacations, even the smallest moments dressed in filters and captions. Yet, in this endless stream of updates, there exists a quiet group of people who choose not to post. They scroll, they observe, they reflect, but they remain unseen. You might know someone like that, or maybe you are someone like that. And that raises an interesting question. Why? Why would someone stay invisible in a world that rewards visibility? The easy answer would be to call them shy, private, or antisocial, but that's not the truth. Their silence isn't emptiness, it's power, it's awareness. It's the quiet rebellion against a system designed to make you believe that if you're not being seen, you don't exist. For many of them, silence is not a lack of expression, it's a choice of control. Because what's shared online no longer fully belongs to you. Every photo, every post becomes a fragment of identity open to judgment, comparison, and interpretation. People who choose silence understand this deeply. They don't need to prove who they are through pixels. They're not performing, they're existing. Psychologists call this self-restraint and internal validation. People who post less often score higher in emotional independence and introspection. They don't seek approval, they seek understanding. They're not trying to show the world who they are. They're trying to know who they are. And in a culture obsessed with attention, that's radical. Think about it. Most of what we post is not just communication, it's a performance. Every caption subtly says, "This is me. Do you like it?" But when you stop posting, that dynamic changes. You stop chasing digital applause. You stop living for the lens. You begin to reclaim your moments. The laughter that isn't recorded, the sunset that doesn't need an audience, the quiet that doesn't demand validation. Many of these people once shared everything, until one day it stopped feeling real. They realized they weren't living. They were performing life. Every post became a silent competition, every highlight a burden to maintain. So they stepped back, not out of bitterness, but out of self-preservation. They started guarding what felt sacred: their peace, their memories, their truth. There's a psychological concept called psychological ownership. The sense that something deeply belongs to you. The moment you post it, that ownership weakens. The memory becomes communal, vulnerable to opinions. Those who don't post are simply protecting that ownership, the right to keep their lives theirs. Some might think this silence means detachment, but in reality, it's depth. They care too much about the meaning of things to let it be diluted by likes or metrics. They're not antisocial. They're just tired of turning their lives into performances. Because once you see how easily perception can be manipulated, you start valuing what can't be posted: presence, truth, imperfection, stillness. And yet, not everyone who stays quiet does it from peace. Some are afraid of being judged, misunderstood, or overlooked. Psychologists call this self-presentational pressure, the constant awareness that you're being watched even when you're not. It's exhausting. So some retreat into silence to escape that invisible audience. They don't want to be ignored. They just want to be seen, truly. Ironically, those who seem silent often have the loudest inner worlds. Their thoughts are rich, their emotions deep, their understanding vast. They just choose not to broadcast it. In a society that screams, "Look at me," their quietness becomes an act of self-definition. It's their way of saying, I exist beyond what you can see. Not everything we experience is meant to be witnessed. Growth, heartbreak, grief, transformation, they all happen quietly. And it's within that silence that the most authentic version of you is formed. Because identity isn't something you perform, it's something you uncover. The irony is that social media was created to connect us, yet it often leaves us feeling more alone. When you stop posting, you begin to see who actually reaches out, who remembers without reminders, who cares without updates. Real relationships don't need proof. They exist in the unshared moments, the kind that don't glow under screens but live warmly in memory. There's a kind of unshakable peace that comes from not needing to be watched to feel worthy. That's not arrogance, it's presence. The people who don't post often have the most fascinating stories, but they prefer to tell them face to face, not filtered through pixels. For them, connection is found in silence, in laughter that needs no witnesses, in moments that don't need documentation. Maybe they understand something we've forgotten, that privacy isn't loneliness. It's intimacy with yourself. It's the space where you start hearing your own voice again, where your desires, your thoughts, and your truths begin to return to you. We've been taught to believe that if you didn't post it, it didn't happen. But that's a lie. The most meaningful things, growth, heartbreak, change, love, rarely make it online. They live inside you. And that's what authenticity really is. Living for your own eyes, not someone else's. Silence isn't absence. It's alignment. It's the quiet confidence of knowing who you are, even when no one's watching. In that stillness, life becomes richer. Colors deepen. Conversations slow down. Moments last longer. Because when you stop performing, you start experiencing. And maybe that's the real lesson here. That in a world so desperate to be seen, the people who choose to stay unseen aren't lost. They're free. So, the next time you notice someone who doesn't post, don't mistake their silence for emptiness. Maybe they've just remembered something the rest of us forgot. That being unseen doesn't mean being insignificant. It means being whole. And if this message resonated with you, if you've ever felt unseen or tired of performing, maybe it's time to start valuing your own silence again. Because that's where the truest version of you has been waiting all along.